Miami, 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 Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to another rousing edition of the Miami Heat Beat Postgame Show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, we have our unincarcerated intern, Pablo.
What's up, guys?
How does it feel like being free?
Oh, it feels great, man. For once in my life, I'm free.
For once in his life, it's free. Also joining us, who I believe is having a little bit of camera difficulty, is Siobhan. Bon, can you hear us?
Yes. Hello. Hi,
back.
people. What's up?
That was one of the best. That was one of the second halves of all time.
Definitely.
So let's kind of go through the
Piss me off.
the whole proceedings, shall we? So Miami has a very plucky underdog first half. A very look at these guys handing it to one of the best teams in the league, underhanded, fighting for every inch that they have, playing hard, playing together. Wow, Kevin Love is really good, isn't he? Oh, look at that. But, Bam switching onto SGA and it's frazzling the Thunder. Wow, the Heat zone. They're really onto something, right? All these elements. And then the third quarter happens. And Bon, what happened? Because it got away from them. And we'll talk about how they got it back. But that's where it started to get. It got away from them to a point that Oklahoma City was just cruising from them.
I think that we have differing opinions. Some of it, a large portion of it for me was, and I don't mean to harp on or to shit on the dude, but I hated Tyler's process the whole third, and it sucks so much because without a point guard, he is the one who's going to have the ball in his hand so much, and it's hard to kind of qualify if you've never kind of experienced something like it happening to you before. But they'll be in the process of trying to do some things and come back, and it's so frustrating with him because he'll be part of the comeback. He'll make a shot or he'll do something well, and it's something that feels like it clicks in his head that, all right, I did this thing good, so now the next 5 shots or the next 5 possessions I need to be actively involved in. And it happens so much, and it's such a I'm calling it an energy sucker, and I'm trying to find a more polite way to say it, but it's such a drainer. It's such a stymier of your own momentum. And then it feeds the other team's momentum, taking bad shots, pressing. So you're taking bad shots, getting misses, teams are getting runouts. You're also taking your teammates out of the process, and the energy that you felt in the first half when they were being quote unquote plucky is because it was a group effort. People felt collectively involved. And I hated the process in the third. We stopped the Kevin Love pick and roll was working either with Kevin as a roller, or we were getting some dribble penetration from the wings. We were getting cuts, and then we just completely go away from that because now it's time. I got to do it. All right, we got here. This was cute, but it's go time for me now, and I hated it.
Pablo, do you agree with Bon? Where do you stand on kind of Tyler's third quarter?
I agree with Bond completely, and I just hate how he'll start really good. The first half, he'll look really good, and then the third quarter, he'll just starts forcing really bad shots that aren't needed. He's already scored 12 points in the first quarter, play make a little bit in the beginning, and then the shots are going to come to you. But instead, he starts to force shots, and then he gets frustrated. He probably gets frustrated and starts forcing even worse shots because he wants to see the ball go inside the basket. And all that does is hurt the team. And if he were to just play make a little bit more, then I think his process in the third quarter, in the second half, would just be a lot easier for him.
But that's what he's doing in the first two. And I be wanting to give Tyler his credit. I'll tweet when Tyler is doing, but Tyler, dude, you look good right now. And then it just goes to shit. I'm 7 for 21. He had been on 17 points for such a long stretch in the second half. I don't remember when the last Tyler bucket was, but it's such.
Chat's mad. Chat's mad at Josh. Chat's mad at
Josh
Tyler.
sucked.
I'm gonna tell you something. Listen. I know y'all missed a certain someone today. I'm not gonna say names, but I know, judging by the guard play today, I know it was a little certain someone you wish was around. Huh? How does it feel, people? How does it feel?
Weak.
I don't disagree with a lot of what you guys are saying. I think that ultimately, with kind of their very shallow guard depth, they got to rely on guys like Tyler and Josh on nights like these where there's nobody behind them. And I do think that, Tyler was a huge part of why they got back in the 30s. The reason why they lost, a part of why the lead got away from them. I thought Bam too as well offensively, but it was a team effort on kind of OKC because it was on both ends, right? And OKC was running out, leaking out, getting those long rebounds and going, all that stuff. But Miami, you know, they got back in the game when Bam sat, and it was Tyler and Love, and Yovic, and Highsmith, competing, playing hard. Highsmith hit a bunch of shots, but I mean, a lot of that was off Tyler creation. A lot of that was like kind of going, and I do think he played a little bit of like too much 1-on-5, and that's just kind of who he is. He's just going to do that sometimes. But there's also like the play in the fourth quarter where he's trying to be like, after the really, really bad leaning three, which we'll talk about right now, he had a pass that he like passed it to like Highsmith on the baseline. And I was like, I just straight up rather Tyler take the contested shot than like give like a Highsmith long two in that shot. And like, and I don't, and that's just kind of their offense doesn't work well right now, particularly. I mean, they're down 2.5 starters, right? Like Jimmy and Lowry and Caleb aren't there. Those are guys that help your offense in a lot of ways. Those are like probably 3 of your guys that do the most of your handling outside of Tyler as well. So it's like you have all those elements, but the three at the end of the game there, the leaning three, everyone knows it. Now, my initial reaction was, watching it in real time, Bond, I was like, that was such an awful look. Only explanation is he felt that he got touched, so he put it up. And on the replay, Giddey kind of gets his lower body with the hands. I don't think it was enough contact to justify a foul, and he shouldn't have taken the shot. And I saw Cardiliana in our chat earlier said, yes, he was fouled. Yes, it was a bad shot. Where are you on that? Because it was like, damn, bro, like you guys got back in the game and you had a chance.
If you get fouled, then plant, like stay in one spot, go up vertically, and let the contact be exaggerated because the fact that you're standing still. You giving all of that extra lean doesn't sell the foul in a way that you think that it would, because it just looks so outrageous.
I don't think he could stop. I actually don't think he could stop.
And he probably, and that's fair too. And yes, he was flying off the handoff really hard. It was a, right foot, left foot kind of stepping into it. But like, I hate that shot. And it just was such a punctuation of, we've made this hellified
We
run.
had just had the conversation in our chat too.
We've done, and look at this. See what happens? Like,
that shit was so funny.
We're down 6. We do all of this shit to kind of get back. And then stuff like that, and you're like, oh well, fuck it, and then you just completely lose. And I won't act like there isn't something to. Well, someone has to take the shot. They had worked it a little bit in that possession. It started at like a minute. It had gotten down to like 41 seconds. I still think that they could have gotten something a bit cleaner. But I understand, like, what shit, someone has to take it, but not like that. And that is, again, just goddamn. And like the stuff that was working in the first, like I know you were talking about like the guard depth. And I hear that, and I genuinely understand that. But again, we went away from some of the forward work that was working. Yovic changes the way that the ball kind of moves and how touches kind of happen. And he was doing, I just have a lot of thoughts. He did. But
played
like,
over 30 minutes. Like, I don't. Yeah,
and I know.
No,
I'm talking about like when that Duncan and Josh stretch. And I'm not.
I mean, they just have those lineups now because they're missing so many guys that you're just gonna have lineups and you look. I mean, like again, they have lineups that it's Kevin Love, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Herro, Yovic, and I was like, how is this team supposed to survive on defense? Like, and really with your Spo, like you don't have a lot of answers, right? And like the Thunder. The whole game, really, we're just getting into the paint. I mean, Miami I don't have the paint points in front of me. I can imagine Miami got clobbered in the paint because nobody could contain. And the help was just like, I don't want to say non-existent, but it was like, it was soft. You know what I mean? And it's like, Yovic is not I mean, Jovic had a couple pretty bad fouls and a couple like blown rotations, but he's young and that's not like his fault. But it's like you're put in this position where it's like if Jovic messes up, who's gonna get his back? Kevin Love,
Yeah,
Tyler, Duncan. It's like
none of them.
no, you know what I mean? So this thing, and they're deep. They're deeper than they've ever been. But the most important guys are missing time. And you can string together a couple cute wins against, the Lakers and all these other teams that aren't so good. But when you play a real team, it's hard, man. You have the plucky first half into whatever this was.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the hero shot. I just feel like those shots he's taking, he's kind of like just shooting regular shots as a fadeaway. So like he spreads his legs so out, and then he doesn't really land like on a stable base. So I feel like he's always trying to draw a foul when he's shooting a jump shot. And then I just feel like on that last shot, it's just like it was so forced. You could have easily found someone instead of taking
He
that.
should have taken the first pull up, but I think that he scared himself that he didn't want to do that.
And I was fine with him not doing it because I said to myself, like, Tyler, you don't have to take that one. And then he took one.
But I thought of what you said.
Take the first one, not that.
His decision making in the clutch, it really hasn't been there this season. And that shot was just a perfect example of our fourth quarters. And we could have easily had a better shot. Even that first shot from Herro probably would have been a way better shot than that contested one at the with Giddey on his side.
Now, I think that a team that has such a limited kind of capability for their offense, I think like nitpicking like every shot, like the Bam shot that nobody liked, that little jab step to like jump shot against Holmgren that he missed late in the fourth. Everyone's like, that's a bad shot. And I agree it's a bad shot. I didn't like it. But also like, man, he was so hot that stretch. And he's like, fuck it. I'm going to let it rip. And I'm okay with that. And I think that like sometimes like you just got to let dudes be like, I think I can make this and take it. Because if not, what you have is just a bunch of dudes that are – because we've had the offense that it's a bunch of dudes scared to shoot. And I don't like that either. At least these guys are taking – at least all of Bam in particular is taking shots. Tyler, I don't think you want him a little like trigger happy. I don't think you want him not trigger happy. You need a play finisher. But Chat's mad at Josh.
Who isn't?
Rightfully so.
My God.
Chat said, "G, cheer up. The Sixers are losing to the Hawks." I gotta be honest with you. That really does make me happy. I'm not gonna lie. Look at that front as well, guys. I'm full disclosure. I was telling Pablo and Bam before the show. This is as tired as I am. Exhausted. I'm on fumes right now. I'm giving you the last 8% of what I have left, and I have to somehow pack. And I don't know if that's gonna happen. I may just, I may just figure it out later. But I'm on fumes. But that did make me happy. Thank you. So, Josh,
he stinks.
Yeah, Pablo, you don't like him. Bon, we were all complaining in the group chat during the game. Cannot contain the rare turnover into foul in 4.3 seconds flat to end a quarter. Truly one of the worst 5 seconds I've ever seen since Rick Pitino. What do you think of him?
Go ahead, Pablo.
Tiff said he's giving us more than Josh.
Josh, that beginning of that fourth quarter was so bad to watch, bro. He was the only one taking shots, and he just kept breaking, and he was like 0 for 5 to start the fourth quarter. Not to mention he gets cooked
Pablo,
every time.
I'm so sorry. Somebody's like, I don't know what you guys want from Josh. Bro, a little containment, a little bit of don't get cooked off the dribble every time. A little bit of like, don't turn the fucking ball over off like a live ball turnover off an inbound. And then you fucking foul a guy with 0.5 seconds left. That's what we're asking for.
And then he took that like and this is the thing too, like you said, I don't want a bunch of guys who just don't want to do anything, but like there is something to like playing within yourself and then like gradually like I feel like Josh's heat checks come too soon. Like he had
Yeah.
a cool little mid range somewhere near the right nail, fine, cool. Next possession or whatever the next possession he found himself open, it was like a high right wing three, fine, whatever. I don't like his form. And so any of his threes stress me out with the way he like brings the ball up and stuff. And then, like you said, and then misses that, gets back, and is hugging the back of whoever Bam is fronting. And then his guy hits that in the corner and he gives like no motion to try to contest. It's shit like that. Like you said, have some containment, have some discipline, have some like some something about yourself.
The like the problem we have with Josh is not that he's bad. It's not his contract. It's the fact that he plays so many important minutes and he doesn't do anything with them. He's just been a negative.
I
So yeah,
wanna I wanna defend him. He doesn't not do important things. I think that
I don't. Yes,
I think he's been much better on offense than he has on defense, which is kind of shocking to me.
I just think he was signed for defense and he's not giving the defense we signed him for, and he plays a lot of important minutes for that defense, and it's just not there. And he's been a big issue why we suck at
And I
point of
think
attack.
today, he's kind of thrust into like okay, buddy, you're like literally the point guard today. Cause he was creating. He was a lot of the worst minutes that they had was him running offense. And it was like him running offense with Bam on the without Bam on the floor, without Tyler. It was just not it was not a pretty sight. And he cannot I like and we talked about this when he was here the first time. He's a good player when he has a bent defense, but he can't
yes,
bend a defense.
he's not
So,
yes.
so he's doing this thing where it's like, all right, Josh, run pick and roll or like run, and that's unfortunately like not his game, and that's not what he got brought in to do. But ultimately, we're not. The show right now is not being mad at those things. Where the show right now is, and a lot of people is being mad at like you were brought here to play defense. Like we can excuse like some of the offensive stuff because obviously like I think they thought they were getting Lillard, and I think that a lot of things were supposed to be different. So he was kind of thrust into a role that
Yeah.
I don't think that he was prepared to play. But defending should be, and that's where he
Yes.
hasn't been. So
And I would be fine to like forego the bits of offensive production he gives us for consistent, steady, like defensive work. I'm cool with his whatever offensive output. Give me more defense, and you can take or leave the few catch and shoot opportunities.
So in chat, Trevor he's saying that Josh Discord is so heavy. We're mad at the fact that he's not doing what we signed him for, like what he signed him for.
yeah, it's like, and I don't even disagree that, but it's like Spo plays him a lot of important minutes as Pablo. That
Right.
was a great point that you said. He plays a lot of important minutes for them, and that's just unfortunate. Like he doesn't get exonerated because his contract is small. The same way that I don't think that just because Kyle's contract is big, the criticism should be any different. And I promise you, in that locker room, they all get fucking held accountable the same way. So
Mhm.
I don't know why
And we-
you guys are doing it different. Because
And we have had guys on minimums in seasons prior who there have been super heavy discourse about. So we can't have it both ways.
bro, you don't think that we've gone through the whole song and dance about how great Spo is for 2 days after the day and a half after if he signed. Congratulations to Spo for an 8-year extension worth a lot of money. Unfortunately, we can't celebrate that today. We're complaining about Josh Richardson and how much we play him. But everybody put up clips on how every former player talked about how that motherfucker held everybody accountable from LeBron to Norris Cole. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't matter who you were. And he gave it. So it doesn't matter how much you make. That doesn't matter in that locker room. Maybe it matters to you guys, but it doesn't to them. And I think viewing sports through an Excel sheet of salaries is like not like, I don't know, the starting point that I want to do. But I love you guys. And yeah, so that was that. Jaime played well.
He
He
did.
Yeah.
If he had dunked on Chet, if he had finished that dunk on Chet, I believe that and I read this in the CBA, he would have won Rookie of the Year.
For sure.
That's like a rule in the CBA.
Yeah.
So unfortunate that he missed that. That was
NBA bylaw.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'll start with Pablo and I'll go to Bond, and then we'll talk about Jovic and then the show. Real quick, his stuff in transition, I think, is like that, and the post ups in the half court are like the two things that are like oxygen to this team.
Yeah. And just it's him and Jovic. Jaime pushes the tempo so much, and it puts defenses on their feet, and it's something that almost no one on the team really does well outside of Jaime and Jovic. So once he goes on that fast break, he's gonna go to the basket every time, and he's going up with force, and that gives a level of that gives our offense something that we haven't really had in years past, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And it's
Yeah,
just no, you're gonna say
no, keep going.
no, and then just Jaime was just incredible as always. Like he was hitting threes today. It seems like he's out of his shooting slump. He hit three threes today. He hasn't been hitting lately.
Big threes, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, like, can you stop the bleeding here? Can you
Yep.
kind of extend this run a little bit?
Yep.
and as Chad says, I want to bring this up real quick. Jaime does finish on the fast break better than Hero and Bam. And I just think it shouldn't be that way because Hero is supposed to be our best scorer and Bam is our most unstoppable force. But Jaime is really the guy that finishes on the fast break much better than both of them. And I just think that's where his value's in.
Bon, your son was huge today. Your son, he again, the stuff in transition, I think was huge. The shooting was huge. I think the other thing is like they play him at a lot of different positions, and I think for a rookie, not having that like knowing exactly what you're going to do night in and night out is really tough. And I think he's adjusted to that well. I mean, today he started in the backcourt. Other times he starts at the 4. Sometimes he starts in the middle at the 3. Like he's been everywhere. And that means guarding a lot of different people. I thought, today was one of his better defensive games, funny enough, because of how they got shredded. But like, I thought he was physical, was not scared of fouling and was physical. Talk about a little bit on his end. And I thought in the zone he looked great, by the way, whenever they did run him in the zone.
Yeah, I thought he moved well in the zone today. I think I agree. And you speaking about all of the different places that they start him at is a testament to his varied skill set. Like you said, they can play him out. They play him out of the extended block. He is one of the best cutters on the team. He's one of the best like readers of when to cut and how to cut. He gets so many. He and Hamish get so many good like baseline cuts. I Pablo looked like Princess Leia. Shout out to Tiffany. I liked his decision making. I like his kind of his effort, especially his aggression in transition. And to the fucking Hero and Bam transition point, that the Bam Jaime 2-on-1. And Bam made a beautiful, like super far out bounce pass to Jaime. But Chet was the dude that was back. I would have, and then Jaime gives it back, and Bam fumbles it, like trying to do whatever against someone little. Bam, that's a fantastic pass, but it's so much space to allow Chet to recover. I would have much rather Bam continued to draw Chet and then find a wraparound to Jaime or something of the effect. But it's baffling how poorly we execute transition opportunities. But yes, Jaime, and you said we are going to get into Nicola. They do give a lot of blood to the what can be a stagnant offense just by wanting to thrust forward and on the break.
To your point about Bam kind of taking Chet out, that's why I like some of their handoff stuff today, because he was slipping off that handoff really quick, and Duncan had a really nice pass to him for a dunk in the 4th. That was like the one good thing Duncan did today. And then I think that kind of got him going, because I think Eric Reed said it best. Like, I think Bam's had enough, and it was kind of deep catch in the post, one dribble turnaround hook. It was a tough finish. He had a couple kind of face up jumpers. He had another couple like 2 dribble drop step kind of looks. He's had the fadeaway going, so that's always great. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Bam for that, because he played not great for I think 2.5 quarters, and he really kind of brought it home. So quick, guys, so we get out of here. Bon, I'll let you go, and then Pablo, you can get the last word. Jovic again just gets minutes and is just playing well. it's gonna be really tough when everyone's healthy. Who's gonna get squeezed out of the rotation? Because certainly he's earned it. I thought of this one quote watching him play today where Norris Cole. I listened to Norris Cole on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and he kind of talked about what Spoelstra asks of guys, and he's very direct, and he's like, "Listen, Norris, if I know you may feel disrespected when they go under the screen, but
Yeah.
I can tell you if you take that pull up early in the clock, you're just not gonna. I'm gonna be straight with you. You're not gonna get minutes." And you need to move the ball. You need to find shooters. You'll get if you do the right things, and you will be able to stay on the floor. I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure that if you do these things, you can stay on the floor. And I can't help but think of Yovic in that because I think his game is a lot more in control. I think he
Yes.
doesn't feel as stressed where he's like, I really need to prove myself every time I get the ball because I want to play. I think that he's playing with a little bit of kind of mental clarity and freedom. And I don't know, Bond, that's really what I thought about watching him play today. I felt like I was watching a man that has been free.
I think so. But he can't have that sense of kind of freedom or clarity with feeling like Carlos Giannis says Nikola plays so happy. And I think that he does. But it's hard to do when you are, constantly questioning if you're going to be pulled for, certain types of mistakes. I like the way that he's visibly gotten stronger, but he plays with the strength more. I loved him attacking off the bounce out of the corner. I appreciated his confidence in just kind of taking the good threes. I've loved him with Bam and some of the big to big passing that they get. It's such a difference when you have a guy with an elevated sight line who can just get it there quickly without having to do, 6-7 fakes to get around a defender's length. I'm happy that he's just kind of been given more space to play through some things. I think he's fouling much less than he was before. He's moving his feet a bit better in space. He has to get better absorbing and knowing when to kind of take a bump and when not with his upper body defensively. He and Jaime, I think, take contact and get displaced from the contact a little bit too much sometimes. But it's been fun watching him, like you said, play a little more stress free and just get out and shout out to Eric for allowing him to, kind of do some of the things that we've, kind of hypothesized that he'd be good at. Someone was saying that like they play him when they were playing him down low earlier before, it was to try to force him to grow in that role, to add things to his game that he'd be better able to exploit. And I think Eric has done a better job since then of just letting him do kind of some of the things that he naturally is good at and then incorporating kind of some other stuff.
Real quick before you go, Pablo, Yovic plus 13 today, Josh minus 19, Duncan minus 18, and Kevin Love minus 14. But
I don't listen to that Kevin minus.
Yeah,
I think part of that was he was in both times that the lead went to shit, and I don't think it's his fault. I think it was a product of. I mean, I think it's his fault in the sense of like he's also like not a plus defender, so it's like he was part of the weak chain. But yeah, I mean he played a great game, and I'm so happy about Kevin. But yeah, I do think the Josh and Duncan numbers were telling, and the Yovic number feels right. Go ahead, Pablo.
with Bond hit everything on the mark with Yovic, so I really don't have much to say because she said everything I wanted to say. But I do want to.
Welcome to being a member of Miami Heat.
I'm so sorry.
No, but it just leads me to I just want to like end off like this. So a chatter in chat said that Duncan does need some blame for tonight. But the thing about Duncan, he had a bad game, but he doesn't have a lot of bad games in a row like Jay Rich does. There's been games where Duncan has single-handedly saved the game for the Heat. So like we're gonna come to expect this from Duncan every now and then, but it's not gonna happen every game. He's gonna always try his best on defense, but when he's on, he's one of the best players on the Heat, and the same can be said about Jay Rich.
I also want to say like the idea of like blaming someone, it's not what it's about. It's not like who gets. This is not a contest for blame or anything, right? It's like they lose as a team, right? Because like even their best players contributed to it, and they are injured. it's not like whose fault is it, like, right? Like that's not what when we come on here after a loss, it's not what it's about. We're talking about what happened, and I don't think that they look at it like who are we blaming today in the film room, baby? Because I promise you, when Bam got beat on some back doors today, he's getting his ass cooked as much as Josh's and everybody else. Because again, that's like when if you like actually believe in Heat culture, like that's the stuff that you got to believe in, because that's what people that Udonis and Mike Miller have talked about it on their podcast. Like that's what it's about. So it's not about like who we blaming today, and because I just want to clear that up with Chad, because that's not that kind of show that we want to be. We do have fun and we do laugh and we do like kind of rag on players or talk about like maybe who didn't play great, but I just wanted to clarify that one thing.
Duncan may have played bad shooting wise, but he still played great off the dribble and setting up Bam, and he's still going to continue being one of the best at doing that on our team. So even when he's having a bad game, he's going to impact the game in a different way.
Well, the thing that stood out to me, Bond, was how like Duncan is a guy that when his shot wasn't falling, other than kind of the spacing he provided, you would ask like, what is he doing to like justify staying on the floor? And I think that question's been answered. Even though he did not play well today, you know what he provides to you, on the ball. So just, I don't know, kind of an interesting thing to notice on a bad night. But I did notice, I was like, yeah, he probably still should be out there, even though he's not playing well. Like you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
He does other
things. Yes.
You don't agree, but yeah.
No, I do. I think tonight you could have saw some more.
They're so shorthanded, but it's not like before where it's like he play bad and then you get the fucking hook.
Yeah,
and you agree. Like that shouldn't be the way that he gets treated nowadays. It's like, he's earned. He's does earned other more. Things. Yeah.
Hamish probably deserved a lot more minutes tonight.
I think he might be on a minutes restriction. It just, I mean, he played over 30 minutes. I think he played around.
He played 35.
He played 35.
Didn't feel like it.
He was third. He was third tonight in minutes. I don't know. It's like
it didn't feel like 35.
Frankie has talked about it all season. Spo has an aversion to playing Haywood in the fourth, and it's weird. It's like you don't see a lot of Haywood minutes.
I mean, he closed today. I mean, he played a lot.
Sure, but I just just patterns.
I think that he doesn't like a guy that, I mean, and I think you kind of saw at the end that, he's just like, he gets a little bit of like frozen in headlights on offense. Like again, that possession I talked about earlier where Tyler kind of passed to him and he had a couple, like he just cannot. And I appreciate the aggression. Like there was one where he had a take, right? He takes like one hard dribble and goes to the basket and he just smoked the layup. And it's just because he's not that kind of finisher. So it's like when you're on the floor, you either need to be like very confident that you're going to like knock down an open shot, or like they want versatility on the floor. Yeah. So I understand, but I think tonight was a night where you're just like, fuck it, man. We just got to defend because we're just getting smoked, and kind of is what it is.
Especially against the team against OKC. Yeah.
Go ahead, G. Send us out.
Yeah, guys. That's it. That's it for me this week. I'll see you on Wednesday. Who do they play? I don't even know. Do they play on Tuesday? I have no idea. I'm going to Canada tomorrow. I will be in Montreal. Hopefully not freezing my ass off.
You will be.
I'm going to be eating and drinking to my heart's content. I am so excited. Oh my God. Montreal is like the foodie capital of Canada, guys. I'm very excited. Listen, I have so many reservations. They have like 3 of the top 50 bars in North America. Guys,
let's go.
It's going to be amazing. But Bon, I believe you are hosting Postgame on Friday. Who do they play?
The Magic.
Got that shit. I think that we may have something else maybe something else on the weekend. Who knows? We'll see. Play it by ear, but you can expect Bon out here on Friday with Pablo on the production side and Mixed Bag next Thursday. We had to cancel yesterday because of really bad snowstorm in the north, in the Northeast and Midwest. So a lot of people did not have power, and some of the guests had to cancel. So we will be back with Mixed Bag on Thursday, and MHB will resume on Friday with Bon. Somebody said, "How's my French?" No bueno, but it's okay. Man, we'll make it work. Yeah, I got a text. We got a
No
text
bueno.
for one of our reservations, and the whole thing was in French. It was like a confirmation, and I sent the screen. My friend sent me the screenshot, and I was like, "We're so fucked. It's so over."
Yeah. Have
I'm
fun.
excited. Love y'all.
Deuces.
Have a great week. Enjoy.